Hello and welcome to another episode of New Gameplay Today. I'm your host, Jeff Cork, joined today by Suriel Vazquez.
I'm here.
Kyle Hilliard.
Hello, I'm the robot.
And Leo Vader.
Hello. Thank you.
Kyle, what game are we looking at right now?
This is Stormlands, an upcoming Oculus Rift Oculus Rift video game. Oculus. It's an Oculus Rift video game from Insomniac Games. This is what they had a smaller team working on this while the majority of their attention was pointed towards Spider-Man. But this is, I think they said like next year is what they're thinking for this. It's like an Oculus first-party published game. And what you are a robot. You've probably seen my robot hands a couple times there. And you're on this like open world planet. And you're exploring and finding things, and I think there's even some like instances of like collecting minerals and like even planting plants and stuff like that. And it's a game that in the final version, you won't see any of it here, but in the final version of the game, you'll actually be like in a sort of a living world where there'll be other players, like around 4 or so. I asked them if there would be 100 that could potentially fly in from the skies, and they said probably not.
Oh, Kyle.
It was a very funny joke that got a really great laugh out of the Insomniac.
They were just
the entire floor. They all caught that joke and just laughed at the same time.
But this is kind of the opening tutorial where you're looking for somebody, and there's a lot of interesting ideas here that I didn't get to see fleshed out like in this demo, but there are things like you're a robot, and what you'll be able to do is you'll actually be able to physically change out your parts. So like you can see my hand there. Like if you want, there's like an upgrade that maybe you can put on your arm that would like physically change the way you look, and so you can like grab a piece off your arm and put a new piece on, which is kind of a cool idea. And then they said this open world, they're actually gonna like move it around like once a week.
What?
So it will like change its sort of layout pretty frequently, which is odd, and I'm kind of curious how that's going to work.
What's the purpose of that?
Just to keep it interesting, I guess. So like you don't. It's kind of like playing a roguelite, right? Where like every time you play, it kind of feels a little bit different.
So they think that one of the most fun parts about a game is that initial feeling of being lost until you get your bearings?
I guess, man. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, I mean, roguelikes are popular.
They're popular. They just want to keep it fresh, you know?
All my favorite roguelikes, I only play once a week.
That's right. Okay, so you can, as you can see, I'm walking around, so you have like free movement.
But you're also teleporting a little bit too.
Well, you can. They have it set up so where you can kind of look. This is me trying to figure out how to install a mod chip.
These hands just constantly
Catch them.
So
What have I become?
I like this. I'm like, he's like, okay, so I have this. Do I put it in there? No? Okay, I'm just going to put it down. Oh, okay, that works.
We decided to make our robots very dumb and not understand how they work.
Yeah, so free movement, and then like you'll see it, that when I'm clicking left and right, it's kind of that VR thing of rather than having smooth movement, it kind of helps with nausea if you can kind of click around a little bit.
Which is weird because it's the exact opposite sensation watching it when you're not in VR.
That's right. Yeah, it's a little unsettling. I try to do it as little as possible.
I appreciate that.
But this is cool. So you can put out your arms and kind of fly like Superman. And it wouldn't be a VR game without
Superman's gun that he always uses.
But yeah, so you'll be shooting things.
And your
which is fun.
robot character has never held a gun before this moment.
That's right.
He's got to do the thing where he's like, oh, look, a gun.
I also like it. We kind of passed by quickly, but there's a thing that you do where you actually like tap the side of your visor to scan, you know, like Metroid style, which is kind of neat. And then the guns are like on your hip or on your back, so you can kind of like reach for your back to grab your gun, Die Hard style.
Nice.
And look at this thing. Hold grip. What an interesting alien world.
Oh, you gotta shoot it with the bow, and it'll drop something cool.
Oh, that's right. And then there's these areas that are there are storms. I guess they're Stormland. And then you have these.
Oh boy! Stop that!
All right, I'm done. I'm done. But then, so in this instance, I have to fly around and collect a couple of these things, and you can steer by like moving your arms. Then I have the map on my left hand, which is neat.
And these are the mini kits from Lego games, correct?
The Bionicles.
I think so. And then after I collected a bunch, we jumped forward a little bit here. I went to it, like unlocked an area that I could go check out, and I'm checking my my map to make sure I'm heading in the right direction.
That's a cool way to implement a map.
Yeah. It's VR and video is always tough, I recognize, but it plays well and it feels good, and like being able to like check your hand for your map and grab your gun off your shoulder and stuff felt nice. And I like scanning by tapping the side of the visor. And the world seems interesting. Like it's cool. I like the sort of the look of these what Johnny Five kind of style robots in this wilderness. So I grab my gun off my back there and start shooting them.
How does this shooting feel?
It feels good.
Okay.
It's fun to shoot things in VR, it turns out. But it's pretty straightforward. Nothing fancy. It sounds like you can get different types of guns, and along with your upgrades and stuff like that. They want all the robots to be visually distinct, so when you run into someone as you're exploring, when you run into a real person, like their robot will look different than yours, based on which upgrades you've chosen and stuff like that.
If you want to show you're having fun in the gameplay, you should be like doing raise the roof gestures and stuff. Like a big thumbs up after you kill some guys or something.
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
They told me that I actually ended up going the most straightforward route to get to the end of the demo, but there were other avenues to get to the next section. If that makes sense. So like it's kind of open in terms of what you want to do and where you want to go next to achieve the next objective.
You just opted out of that part of the game.
I was actually in a rush. I had an interview appointment next, so I had to get it done.
Yeah.
And so I went up into the air to a different portion of the planet, and
oh boy!
Look, Cork, I'm sorry.
You're killing me.
That was my goal here.
He's trying to
murder you.
Get a panoramic view of this entire location and get a photo of it.
Yeah. I'm learning how to record VR. I'm trying to get better at it. See, I'm looking at that ship with a steady head.
The steady.
Did you hold your head with both hands?
That's
As
right.
opposed to how you normally would, which is just to shake everywhere.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So that's Stormlands from Insomniac. Next year, it's looking like.
Next year. Excellent. Well, thanks for showing that off, Kyle. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Leo and Suriel, thanks for showing up too.
You owe me one.
Big time. And thanks for watching. Bye.